exactly what I'm doing today. Secondly, it was lobby and advocacy. Thirdly, it was representation both at the national and international level. The other one was arbitration. In the case of disputes, Uganda Cooperative Alliance comes in to handle those disputes, and also resource mobilization. By 1960, you can imagine, before independence there, I was speaking to one of the old cooperators. You know, some of these things we don't know. And he told me something very interesting, that when Uganda was to get independence in 1962, Bugis Cooperative Union and Mengo Cooperative Union guaranteed, and by then Bugisu had an equivalent of 20,000 pounds in the UK. That was a guarantee and for us to get independence.
And up to now, Bugis Cooperative Union remains one of the strongest.
Can you imagine?
Yes, yes.
Yes, so we needed to get this information. So cooperatives were very strong. By 1965, they were controlling cotton, coffee, both Arabic and Robusta. They were controlling, they were controlling over 321,311,500 Uganda shillings. This was a lot of money. We are talking in terms of millions. If you can look at the national budget, then you can't believe. This was almost 80% of the whole economy. So it means that the Ugandan economy was in the hands of cooperators. In 1963, because the cooperatives were very strong, together with the government, they started the cooperative college at Bukarasa, and later it went to Chigumba, which is Cooperative College Chigumba. Currently we have two. In 1964, they started the bank, the Cooperative Bank Limited, which was closed on the 19th of May 1999. So you can imagine how strong these cooperatives were. They had 100% monopoly to Guinea cotton. This is now the time when the cooperatives were strongly into education. Now here, when we talk of education, I don't want us to limit ourselves on to maybe secondary, primary, and university. We are looking at education from a wider perspective, looking at the general public, the members of cooperatives, and then the generation, the young people maybe in schools and universities. You can imagine around that time, Bugis Cooperative Union supported the starting of Bukedia Secondary Kachonga. They also
Bukedi College.
Yes, Bukedi College, yes, Kachonga. Yes, yes. They also supported the Teso College. Then they also supported Masaba Secondary. That was education. Then now I'm giving just a scenario for Bugisu. Then look at other unions, what they did across the country. So they were supporting that. They were providing extension services. Extension is also part of education. Educating the farmers on better agronomic practices, that is in cotton, in tea, in coffee, and other produce.
Well, Ms. Evan, you bring in a very big issue here, because most people actually testify that their parents would take cotton or coffee to a cooperative college, and they would be given, I would mean a cooperative society, and they would be given a receipt. That receipt would be taken to any school and would be accepted.
Very good.
Now, let's look at the effects of COVID now, with most parents really crying, saying that they do not see any ways, means they're going to take back their children to school. Don't you think really we can borrow from that good old practice?
Thank you so much. In fact, before we go to COVID, you have brought a very good scenario, and I know that I went through that system. I remember when I was still very young, I was in the primary, around the 80s there. I used to take coffee for my grandfather to a parop center. Then the Banyankole called it parapari. So whenever I would take coffee there, they would give you a receipt. And this receipt was a cash equivalent. So I would take this receipt to school, and the bursar would accept it as if it is cash. That is facilitating education. The same receipt, you would take it to anywhere, to hospital, to where. And as long as you have borrowed your produce with a cooperative society or union, then automatically the receipt was a cash equivalent, and it would facilitate education. These unions were giving bursaries. Most of these people you see, especially people around the 60s, 50s there, some of them were sponsored by cooperative unions. Like, yes, like Bugis Cooperative Union, it had a bursary for the best students from Bugis region.
At primary,
yes,
and A level.
You go to Kigezi, the same, Kigezi Growers Cooperative Union. You go to here Central Mengo, you go to Ankole, Banyankole, Kweterana, you go to Nyakatonzi, you go to East Acholi, West Acholi, Lango, West Nile Cooperative Union. They had bursaries. They would support the young people who had excelled from their regions to further their studies. This is facilitating education. Now, you go to this. I have worked in a circle for 9 years, right from cashiering up to general manager. From 2003, 15th of March, up to 2011, I was working in a circle. I'll tell you, if I can give you scenarios, or if I can say, whoever got education through the circle, for example, Ruchiga circle, they cannot even fit in this compound. Because we had a specific product, school fees loan. And the school fees loan was designed in such a way that we were not looking at the rich, we are looking at the poor, especially. And especially women. I will give you a scenario. One time, I was a general manager. A woman comes, by then I was a general manager for Ruchiga Sacco in the Kabale district. A woman comes, she doesn't have security, she's alone, the husband is a drunko, and the woman says, I am a widow. So for me, I knew this is a widow. So I sent my loans officer.
In other words, she was as a widow.
I am still telling you. The old woman says, I'm a widow. I sent the loans officer. He goes there for assessment. Now, in the process of going for assessment, he passes through, you know, in the Kabale there are some valleys where there are these streams, and they brew warrage from bananas. So, as he was going, he passes via a stream where they are preparing warrage, this local brew. And he asks, where is so-and-so's home? He says, hey, you are looking for the woman, but the husband is here. Can you imagine? The husband was there. The man says, but the woman says she's a widow. No, but the man says, who are you going to my home? Let's go together. So you can imagine, they reached there. When the woman saw the loans officer with the man,
with the husband, the
woman starts crying. So she says, please, loans officer, you go, don't do anything. The next day she follows and finds me in office. She cried for 30 minutes in an office. And I listened to her story. She told me that I came here and claimed to be a widow because my husband, much as he's alive, he died 10 years back. You know, some men who are, you are at home but you are not even a man. There's nothing. So, in Banyarwanda they say, Arafu yahagaze. You die when you are there.
When you're living.
You are still living, but you are declared dead because you are hopeless in the family. I will tell you, to cut the short story, the story short, this woman educated her children. 5 of them, I will tell you, today if I brought them here, engineers, doctors, lawyers. There is a time when the last born was... yes, when the last born was graduating, she called me here. I attended the party and she gave the entire story on how she was able to educate her children through the school fees loan. Now, this is a situation where I said, okay, now this woman does not have security. The husband died when he's still alive. Let me help this old woman. We would give her a loan which is unsecured. Because you cannot bring security for the man. When the man is there, the man will kill you. So eventually, the children got education. That is just one scenario out of like a million. So circles have developed products specifically to cater for school fees because they know what it takes for these poor people in rural areas to pay school fees. So it is there and they are facilitating. You have talked about the warehouse receipt system, which was working. Wherever like you go to Nyakatonzi, whenever you would bring your cotton, like this, you put it in they measure, put it in a store, they give you a receipt. You would take a receipt to any school.
Any school within that region.
Very good. Or even outside. As long as it was written in Nyakatonzi, confirm 100 kilograms of cotton equivalent to this. That was enough. And then that would facilitate education. Even if it was before harvesting, In as long as you're a member, and they know that after harvesting, the produce will come to the store, you would be comfortable. So that is how far cooperatives have supported or facilitated education. Now, COVID, let's go to COVID.
Yeah, because now with COVID, of course, most parents are counting losses. They
Yes.
don't know how to take back their children to school. Actually, we are told that schools may reopen in January. So between now and January, how do they prepare to utilize cooperative societies, to work with cooperative societies, so that their children don't stay out of school just because of lack of fees?
I want to tell you, moderator, we are all affected because even my children at home, and even if, by the way, they were to go back to school tomorrow, there's no money. Don't think that when they have not been going to school, we are saving. In this situation, there's not, maybe you have money. In this situation, there's nothing completely. We don't have anything because when they're at home, they even consume more. You spend more money when they're at home. I have realized. For me, at first, I thought maybe if they're at home and I'm not paying school fees, I would save that money. Nothing. Instead, there is nothing because they have consumed everything. And of course, you know, within the economy now, there's no money. So we are all affected.
Why should children be looked at as consumption machines, not production machines? Don't you think also parents need to reverse the trend, so that because
yes.
children actually as it was in the past?
Yes.
Because during holidays you'd work with your grandfather, you'd work with your grandmother, work with your mother, your father in the shambas, that by the time you go back to school, you've contributed towards your fees.
It's a very good idea, but I think especially now talking about these ones who are in town, then they cannot know what do they do. But it is advisable also for these kids to be productive. Like it used to be. For us, you could not stay home. We were grazing goats, cows, digging, everything. But now these modern ones here, our children here, they are here. At this time they are watching TV. But at this time I would be in the shamba, digging. So the trend has changed. The way it used to be, things have changed. But of course, we must encourage them to become productive. So back to COVID. Of course, COVID has affected everybody. It has affected the Ugandan economy. It has affected the global economy, but it is a lesson to us that actually we should think beyond the box. Anything coming and you are not prepared, it takes you. So how are cooperatives, despite all this, how are cooperatives organizing themselves? That is one, and also on the side of parents. Now for cooperatives, like I have told you, circles are already, they are, because not every, by the way, some children, much as they are not at school physically, some of them are studying online.
Online, yes.
Yes, so we have even gotten some money, some loans from circles to pay, because you pay. Every month we are paying online studies.
Even if no one is allowed to sit exams unless you've cleared.
Yes, yes, you have seen it. No one is allowed. So it is cooperatives are of course organized. The agricultural production and marketing cooperatives are doing the best to make sure that farmers aggregate their produce, so that by the time of opening schools, farmers should have produce, and that produce should be sold so that farmers can get school fees for their children. Circles, most circles have created a fund to make sure that they cater for school fees, because they know in January the demand will be very high.
Very high, yes.
Yes, I'm telling you, in fact, even some circles, the managers and chairmen who are listening, you should know that the moment schools are open, there is going to be a lot of demand, both for savings and loans, because people need money for school fees.
For school fees, yes.
But I'm happy I've talked to most of the circles. They are preparing for that, to make sure that whether tomorrow or whether January, when the schools will be opening, they will be ready to make sure that they, first of all, pay back the savings and also extend school fees loans to the members. And they are prioritizing this. They are going to leave, they are prepared to leave other loan products specifically to concentrate on education. Because I want to tell you, moderator, education is key. If you don't educate your children, however much you own Kampala or whichever city, but minus educated children, forget about it.
Yeah,
forget about
Mr.
it.
Ivan, most developed countries when they want a concept to help or to contribute to sustainable development for generations, they make sure that that concept is part of their curriculum, right, from primary to university. In Uganda, as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, how far have you gone in engaging your National Curriculum Development Center and the National Council for Higher Education so that cooperative education can actually be part of the curriculum?
Thank you so much, moderator. As Uganda Cooperative Alliance, of course, like I've mentioned, we are cognizant of the fact that we need education. And in that regard, we have signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Curriculum Development Center. And I'm very happy to tell you that the government is very positive in ensuring that we have cooperative education right from senior secondary 1. Because this is the key. You have seen all professions now are forming cooperatives, circles, the lawyers, the accountants, the doctors, all of them. But how many of them understand cooperatives? So for them to understand this, then we need cooperative education right from grassroots.
So that by the time they are out of school, they appreciate, understand
very
the concept.
good. Like now with the media, if you wanted to start a circle, at least if you had gone through it, the cooperative education, then it would be easier for you. So I'm happy to tell you that the government is very positive, and they want this as early as yesterday to ensuring that we have cooperative education taught right from senior 1. So we are working with them. We are working out a curriculum, but of course, you know, developing a curriculum may take years. It's not something that you just play around with. That is at secondary level. We are also engaging government in ensuring that we really elevate cooperative colleges so that they start even offering
degree courses,
degrees, masters, and PhDs. I will tell you, the Cooperative College of Chigumba started in 1963 at Bukaras, and then later went to Chigumba. The same year, on the 5th of January, 63, Mosh University, by then it was Mosh Cooperative College, started. Then later it got affiliated to Sokoine University of Dar es Salaam. And then from there, it is now an independent university since 2014, offering PhDs in cooperative.
And our president in Tanzania,
yes,
taught that college.
Very good.
So he understands the concept.
Our president was teaching there. Myself, I studied from Mosh University. Even up to now, that's where I am doing my research. So that is where they are, the Tanzanians. You go to Kenya. Kenya, they have a cooperative university. You know it. So we are also engaging government that how do we facilitate education in this country? So we need to have cooperative education starting right from senior 1
up to university
level, like other countries have done. And in fact, we also need to develop these practical skills to our children. If you went to other countries like Malaysia, they have what they call school cooperatives. School cooperatives is where, you remember, I don't know whether you studied from a rural school, where we had this, each student was given a very small portion of land.
Or a class.
Yes, for me, I remember I had my piece, it was 6 by 3, a very small thing. They would give it to you. Practically, it would impact practical knowledge in you, and you would never forget it. And in fact, I want to admire that methodology, because since then, I have loved agriculture. Even up to now, I go and dig, because I was trained and I was made to love agriculture at a tender age. So likewise in Malaysia and other countries, they have what they call school cooperatives. Kids of around 5-10 years, they come to a school and they form a cooperative. They start saving little money. Or they have their small gardens and they combine everything. They harvest their produce. It is bulked in the cooperative. It is sold, and they get the money, which money comes to the circle. So by the time you grow up, already you have that passion for the cooperatives, which is lacking here.
You even have some savings with you.
Very good. Already you have savings. From university, already you have money. So this is how far cooperatives are facilitating education. So education both in secondary, in universities, to the public, and to the members. Now go to the members. I remember this week, I saw Honorable Minister for Microfinance being questioned in the Parliament about the performance of Emyoga. And the reason is, I don't know whether you saw it, the reason is where that people have not been trained.
They lack adequate education.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Fantastic. Now, what does it imply? It means that all these government programs to succeed, we need education, training and information. People need education. Yes, you are doing this, but why? For example, talk of Emyoga. Emyoga is a very good initiative by His Excellency the President, and I cannot stop to talk about this. He has been a champion of the cooperative movement wherever he has gone. And he encourages people to join circles. You people form circles,
people
join
to cooperate,
circles.
come
Yes,
together.
he believes in cooperation. You know why he believes in cooperation? You know, in 1981, when he was going to fight for freedom, he realized that he couldn't do alone. You cannot. So he had now to get a team of 27 men who joined together, cooperated, and they were able to win the war, and they came back. You remember the time of overthrowing, the cooperation that was there. And then eventually...
Both internal and external.
Very good.
Yes.
Are you seeing the power of cooperation? That is it. So he believes in cooperation. He says, His Excellency says, people come together, cooperate, work as a team. So the Emyoga scheme is a very good government program whereby you are saying people with different skills come together. That is the best message you'll ever hear in this world, where someone says people love each other. Because cooperation is about love, it's about passion, it's about empathy, it's about transparency, it's about accountability, it's about unity.
Mr. Simwe, the reason why most of such initiatives actually get challenges is that people are mobilized actually to come together without being given education, without being educated or given information on what they have to do when they are together, because the issue is come together so that government can give you funds, rather than come together so that you can work together and develop yourselves. So as cooperative movements, let's look at the cooperative societies we have in the country. How much member education do we have that perhaps government can use cooperatives as a model in training other people or other members involved in other initiatives of poverty eradication?
Yeah, thank you so much. And like I've said, government has got very good programs. Let's use an example of Emyoga. A very good program. People with skills come together, work together as a team. But what is lacking is exactly you are mentioning, lack of education, training and information. Now, let's begin with the implementers. If you are talking about people coming together to form Emyoga circles, before you even talk about it, you yourself, do you understand a circle? What is a circle? I have met, sometimes I also become a farmer the other side. So as I was there, someone who comes from Kampala in a very big vehicle, and I pretended not to understand anything about circles. So he said, you people farmers, just congregate together. We are coming, want to help you to form a Emyoga circle, and then we give you money. Then I listen.
Actually, that is the gospel.
That is
come together and we give you
which
money.
Is very wrong. Because that is not the cooperative ideology.
That's not the spirit.
No, the cooperative ideology is different. So I listened. So the person says, we have gotten support. You people, we want to help you to form this circle. And this circle, a circle which is like this, C, capital C. Now this circle of ours,
not the acronym.
No,
circle.
A circle, yes. So this one here,
capital C.
So he says, you people, we are coming here to support you. We want you to be in this circle, whereby we are helping you. We shall give you money. You rotate it. And then another person gets. That is the circle.
That is the circle. And interestingly, people have formed the circles. They have turned into rectangles until
you can imagine.
become squares. rather
So you
than
can
getting to the
imagine.
concept
Then,
of saving. And
in my humble way, I asked him, sir, what is a circle? He said, we shall tell you that next time. For now, we want you to form a circle.
a circle.
Yes, then we shall tell you next. I said, no, sir, I want to understand what is a circle. So the man could not explain. So the problem of this country and Africa in general is that people put personal interests first. When there is a program,
rather than looking at the bigger picture.
yes, when there is a program, instead of looking at the beneficiaries, someone is looking at myself first. Let me push this thing, even if I don't know it, casta, I get what I want. This is what I realize. And that is why some of these programs are failing. If you know that you are talking about circles, and you know Uganda Cooperative Alliance, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, the district commercial officers are there. They are the champions. They understand the cooperatives better, like I've told you. We have gone to Moshi University. We have worked in cooperatives for 19 years. But you don't want to involve us. And you are going alone. And you cannot even define a circle. But you are telling people to form a Myoga circle.
But Mr. Simo, they say he who wants to influence a process, okay, must create space. How much space have you created? Perhaps the information out there about you, about the cooperative movement, is actually not enough. Because remember our history, where cooperatives were demonized, that people really still are biased on the performance and effectiveness of cooperative societies. Yes.
Let me ask you, if you want your child to be baptized, where do you take him?
To church.
To church. Why not else? Why not some other place? Why?
Yeah, because that is the place.
Very good.
That,
so,
yes.
if you want cooperatives to succeed, better take them to people who understand them. You cannot just sit down and read about them. You just read in a book something about cooperatives and then you go to implement it. You need the people who understand the cooperatives to help you. We are here to help. We are here to educate the masses. So one of the reasons as to why some of these programs fail is because of education, poor education, training and information. And what cooperatives now do in this context is where, for example, if such a program coming in, you involve key stakeholders, then we go and involve the circles. You can even imagine some of these people who are supporting these other programs, they don't even go through the real structures. You can imagine they go to a parish, there is an existing strong circle, but they cannot even pass through that circle. They now go to mobilize other people
for the parish model and the
yes. And they ignore completely an existing circle. And these are now circles and cooperatives which would be helping you to champion the movement because they have been there for a long time. They understand all the techniques of circles. Talk about this parish development model. The other time I was discussing it with the ministers. A parish development model ideally should be a good model, but the challenge will be on implementation, because when you look at it, it's based on 7 pillars.
Just like the cooperative movement.
Very good. Yes. 7 pillars. I think they were very smart. They are the same as cooperative principles. Now, amongst these pillars, there is financial inclusion, there is infrastructure, there is mindset change, there is production, storage and marketing.
And mindset change, that is education.
Very good. Mindset change, that is education. Now, when you look at all these pillars, this is the cooperative model. And for us, the cooperative model, we even go beyond and have what we call the tripartite cooperative model. This is the UCA cooperative model. How does it work? It works in such a way that if we are farmers, we belong to a financial cooperative, and again, we belong to another cooperative, like agricultural cooperative.
Now, Mr. Simo, I can see time is not our best ally, but I would wish that you guide a parent who is watching this program, Education Forum. How do they prepare for next term? How are they going to work with circles? Perhaps you as Uganda Cooperative Alliance. How are you working with your circles and the cooperative societies out there to ensure that there will be sufficient funds, there will be all sufficient perhaps equipment and apparatus for them to come and seek financial services or any other services, so that students again don't fail to report for the term just because there is no money.
So as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we are championing this move, and we are really disseminating information to all cooperatives in the country. Currently we have over 29,000 registered cooperative societies from primary level up to apex. So we are disseminating this information to all of these cooperatives to prepare for this. And I'm happy most of them have complied. Now on the side of parents, of course, I encourage them to save the little they can, because where we are heading, there are a lot of uncertainties. We may be talking of January, you never know what will happen. So they need, now that we are lucky to have structures, we have circles, we have MFIs, we have commercial banks, I encourage parents, save as much as you can. Yes, I know we have to survive, but of course saving is key. So save as much as you can. Then for the farmers, make sure that you use your cooperatives. The little produce you have, kindly run and keep it there, so that once your produce in the store, of course ceteris paribus, you never know what may happen. At least you have your produce there, you have your maize, you have your coffee, so that once they open up, then you are able to dispose it off and get money.
No, some parents who have actually gone into agriculture, they are one of the biggest challenges, the price fluctuation. Yes, there is no price stability. Yes, instability in prices of agriculture.
But you see, this is exactly what cooperatives would be doing. Cooperatives would help to aggregate and to do collective marketing and stabilize these prices. So it's because most of our farmers have not yet joined the cooperatives. I will give you an example of Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union. They stabilize their prices, the prices of coffee. You bring your coffee, they give you they call it fast payment, and then once they export the coffee to fair trade, they even pay back the premium. So the farmers are getting the price fast and again premium payment, which is a benefit. So I encourage them, I encourage farmers, please, let's bulk as much as we can so that there is value addition and then collective marketing. Then for circles also, I'm happy that they have started planning for this, to make sure that by the time the schools open, they will have loanable funds in form of school fees, and the parents will be able to take back their children.
And to what extent are you working with government so that perhaps government can also think of channeling some kind of COVID stimulus through such circles, so that when schools open, then there is no hitch in all students, parents don't find it a problem to send it.
Thank you. Of course, we are closely working with the government, though we haven't succeeded, I may say, but we continue to engage the government to also make sure that some of this relief fund goes through cooperatives. And we are very optimistic. You never know, anytime we shall succeed, and then we have this money going through cooperatives, because cooperatives have structures. They have structures from a national up to grassroots level. And I think once the government uses these structures, we shall succeed. But I'm happy with the government, because the government is very positive. We have engaged them, and they are positive, and especially His Excellency is very positive and passionate of the cooperative movement.
Well, time is not our best ally. I would beg that you look into the camera, you parting shot, your last word to the viewer.
Thank you. I want to thank the moderator, UBC, management and board, and the viewers. Thank you so much. Please, I want to encourage everybody to join cooperatives. Please use your cooperatives. And I also want to request the government that with your very good programs, let us see how to use cooperatives as vessels for socio-economic transformation. I want to thank you. I want to thank the viewers, and I want to thank everybody. May God bless you. Thank you.
Well, I must thank you very much, Ivan Asimwe, the CEO or the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, for taking us through this good topic cooperatives as facilitators of education, how they've actually facilitated education. This is information parents out there need to know so that they are not stuck as and when time comes for the reopening of schools. And I must thank UBC management for this program education forum, where we really have to discuss on how best we can have an education system, we can have education that works for us. Manda Kola Mazima is my name, saying bye-bye.
Good.